Imagine a future where you're living a life filled with purpose, joy, and abundance. You wake up each day feeling energized and motivated to tackle whatever comes your way. Now bring that vision to the present moment as you watch this video. I want you to visualize yourself letting go of those self-destructive habits and replacing them with ones that will propel you towards success. In Stoic philosophy, it is believed that individuals have the power to shape their own destiny through their thoughts, actions, and choices. By developing good habits and eliminating bad ones, one can cultivate a life of wisdom, tranquility, and virtue, as Epictetus once said. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it, that matters. So start changing now by removing bad habits, and remember, small beginnings lead to great endings. Let's do it. I want to start by saying that this message is just for you. I know that there are millions of videos out there, and you could easily choose to watch something else, but you didn't. You're here now, and I appreciate that. So let me say, thank you for giving me your valuable time. Now I want to ask you a favor. I'm asking you to make a commitment to yourself right now. And that commitment is simple. Do not skip this video under any circumstances. Not now, not later, because you're different from the rest. You're an exception, and as an exception, you need to act like one. You need to treat yourself differently and invest your time and attention in things that matter. So stay focused. The last of the so-called 5 good emperors, Marcus Aurelius, kept the Roman Empire safe from the Parthians and Germans between the years 161–180. One of the most respected Roman emperors, Marcus Aurelius is best remembered for his rule, driven by reason, and his intellectual interest in Stoicism, a philosophy of personal ethics. In brief, Stoicism teaches us that by self-restraint, people can develop clear judgment and inner calm. It also emphasizes the fact that the path to happiness is accepting the present moment as it is. Influenced by Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius has written one of the greatest works of philosophy, Meditations. This series of personal writings consists of 12 books and is filled with personal notes and ideas on Stoicism. The death of Marcus Aurelius is considered to be the end of Pax Romana, and eventually the fall of the Western Roman Empire made by its system of logic. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts when you arise in the morning. Think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love. Do every act of your life as though it were the very last act of your life. Remind yourself that your task is to be a good human being. Remind yourself what nature demands of people. Then do it, without hesitation, and speak the truth as you see it, but with kindness, with humility, without hypocrisy. Life is short. The fruit of this life is a good character and acts for the common good. Everything that happens, happens as it should, and if you observe carefully, you will find this to be so. To live the good life, we have the potential for it. If we can learn to be indifferent to what makes no difference, how ridiculous and how strange to be surprised at anything which happens in life. Live out your life in truth and justice, tolerant of those who are neither true nor just. We live only now. Everything else is either past or is unknown. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. It is the person who continues in his self-deception and ignorance who is harmed. To love only what happens, what was destined. No greater harmony. No man can escape his destiny. The next inquiry being how he may best live the time that he has to live. Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good. Think of yourself as dead. You have lived your life. Now take what's left and live it properly. Nothing happens to anybody which he is not fitted by his own nature to bear. Shame on the soul, to falter on the road of life while the body still perseveres. Stop whatever you're doing for a moment and ask yourself, am I afraid of death because I won't be able to do this anymore? Brief is man's life, and small, the nook of the earth where he lives. Brief, too, is the longest posthumous fame, buoyed only by a succession of poor human beings who will very soon die and who know little of themselves, much less of someone who died long ago. About death, whether it is a dispersion or a resolution into atoms or annihilation, it is either extinction or change. Let each thing you would do, say, or intend be like that of a dying person. Remember, matter, how tiny your share of it; time, how brief and fleeting your allotment of it; fate, how small a role you play in it. It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live. What we do now echoes in eternity. The memory of everything is very soon overwhelmed in time. But death and life, honor and dishonor, pain and pleasure, all these things equally happen to good men and bad, being things which make us neither better nor worse. Therefore they are neither good nor evil. Stay calm and serene, regardless of what life throws at you. Reject your sense of injury, and the injury itself disappears. Here is a rule to remember in future, when anything tempts you to feel bitter. Not, "This is misfortune," but to bear this worthily is good fortune. Accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny, for what could more aptly fit your needs? Look well into thyself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if thou wilt always look. Confine yourself to the present epithets for yourself: upright, modest, straightforward, sane, cooperative, disinterested. Maintain your claim to these epithets, without caring if others apply them to you or not. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Do not indulge in dreams of having what you have not, but reckon up the chief of the blessings you do possess, and, because a thing seems difficult for you, do not think it impossible. Make sure you're not made emperor. Avoid that imperial stain. It can happen to you, so keep yourself simple, good, pure, saintly, plain, a friend of justice, God-fearing, gracious, affectionate, and strong for your proper work. It is the responsibility of leadership to work intelligently with what is given and not waste time fantasizing about a world of flawless people and perfect choices. A real man doesn't give way to anger and discontent, and such a person has strength, courage, and endurance, unlike the angry and complaining. The nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength. No random actions, none not based on underlying principles. Whenever you are about to find fault with someone, ask yourself the following question: what fault of mine most nearly resembles the one I am about to criticize? Let men see, let them know, a real man who lives as he was meant to live. That which isn't good for the hive isn't good for the bee. A man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions. Objective judgment. Now, at this very moment. Unselfish action. Now, at this very moment. Willing acceptance. Now, at this very moment, of all external events. That's all you need. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Dwell on the beauty of life. Watch the stars and see yourself running with them. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. I have often wondered how it is that every man loves himself more than all the rest of men, but yet sets less value on his own opinion of himself than on the opinion of others. Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself and your way of thinking. The object of life is not to be on the side of the majority, but to escape finding oneself in the ranks of the insane. Today, I escaped from the crush of circumstances, or better put, I threw them out, for the crush wasn't from outside me, but in my own assumptions. How much time he gains who does not look to see what his neighbor says, or does or thinks, but only at what he does himself to make it just and holy. The first rule is to keep an untroubled spirit. The second is to look things in the face and know them for what they are. How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it? There are many writings on Stoicism going back thousands of years, and I've been collecting and posting my favorite Stoicism quotes on Instagram every single day since 2019 for our community of 100,000 plus people. I've always been amazed at just how these thoughts from the greatest Stoic philosophers from ancient times are still relevant today. These include things like Stoic quotes on death, Stoic quotes on love, honestly, ego, judgment, and how to live a happy life. Each Stoic philosopher had their own style, and I'll be showing the best Stoic quotes from my top 5 philosophers: Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, Zeno, and Musonius Rufus. Marcus Aurelius is one of the most famous Stoic philosophers and one of the most powerful people in the world while he was alive. He was the emperor of ancient Rome and would often write down his thoughts in his now famous journal we now call Meditations. This is one of my favorite books of all time, and an interesting look into the mind of Marcus. His journal was never meant to be published, so what you see here is pure honesty that ended up including some of the greatest Stoic quotes. The best answer to anger is silence. The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. How ridiculous and how strange to be surprised at anything which happens in life. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart. Confine yourself to the present. When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. You can commit injustice by doing nothing. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Each day provides its own gifts. Give yourself a gift, the present moment. The only wealth which you will keep forever is the wealth you have given away. Have I been made for this? To lie under the blankets and keep myself warm? Conceal a flaw and the world will imagine the worst. Life is neither good or evil, but only a place for good and evil. I cannot escape death, but at least I can escape the fear of it. How trivial the things we want so passionately are. Settle on the type of person you want to be and stick to it, whether alone or in company. Consider at what price you sell your integrity, but please, for God's sake, don't sell it cheap. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Ignorance is the cause of fear. While we wait for life, life passes. Life is long if you know how to use it. Hurry up and live. Cease to hope, and you will cease to fear. Wealth is the slave of a wise man and the master of a fool. Only time can heal. What reason cannot? Life is very short and anxious for those who forget the past, neglect the present, and fear the future. What really ruins our character is the fact that none of us looks back over his life. Religion is regarded by the common people as true, by the wise as false, and by rulers as useful. It does not matter how many books you have, but how good are the books which you have. When a person spends all his time in foreign travel, he ends by having many acquaintances, but no friends. For many men, the acquisition of wealth does not end their troubles, it only changes them. The greatest remedy for anger is delay.